ABC Podcast, Episode 3, where I'm your host, Nikki, where we talk about everything real, everything fake, and everything in between. But before we get into this episode, I want to say happy 420 to all my smokers out there, and also introduce the cocktail of the day, which is my favorite cocktail since, as you can see, it's me, myself, and I. There's no guest, there's no co-host, nothing. It's just me. So this episode, episode 3, of course, is going to be all about me. So let's get into this cocktail of the day, which is one of my favorites. I call it Lunazul, Dr. Lunazul. That's why I call it Dr. Lunazul. So it's basically a mix of Lunazul, I don't know how to say that word. I always mix it up, Espadado, but when I go get it, everybody already know what I'm talking about. But you mix that with a little bit of Dr. Pepper, and not just any type of Dr. Pepper, guys. You got to do it with the Dr. Pepper strawberry cream with some Monster, and it's all good. This is my favorite cocktail of the day. Of course, I drink it whenever I go out. I always ask for, if they don't got Dr. Pepper, I just do mix it with Pepsi and Monster. But at home, you already know. At home, I get that Dr. Pepper and that strawberry cream. It's on point. It's on point. I promise y'all. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, share until you can't share no more my video. In today's episode, it's all about me, and I'm going to share my coming out story, which is me coming out to my parents and my entire family. So let's get into this episode. But before we get into this episode, I'm going to take a drink. Big drink. Big drink. So, my coming out story is not like everybody else coming out story. I'm sure everybody else's coming out story, for those who did come out to their family and friends, is probably not the same coming out story. For me, my coming out story is different. I waited years. Like a lot of people may have came out when they were teens in high school and all that. Me, I didn't. I didn't come out until I was actually grown. So basically, I lived my life how I think my family would have wanted me to live. And when I say family, I mean like my siblings and my mom. But not knowing my siblings and my mom. You know how you live your life like you say you live your life like how you think your family would want you to live, but basically you really don't. Me particular, I live my life how I thought my family, my siblings and my mom would have wanted me, and my dad would have wanted me to live my life. So that means I wore the straight hair down, curly, the heels. I did all that. I did the whole girly girl thing, but inside, I was uncomfortable. Nobody knew this. And I don't blame my family. I don't blame none of my siblings for how I decided to live my life. But inside, I was very uncomfortable to wear heels. I was very uncomfortable to show my boobs. I was very uncomfortable to wear tight jeans. I was very uncomfortable to show my shape. I was very uncomfortable just in that atmosphere, not living how I wanted to live. With the jeans not too tight, but the jeans that's like, men jeans with tennis shoes, with a sweater, a hoodie, a t-shirt, a do-rag, like anything to make me feel comfortable. I was ashamed to wear it because that's not what my siblings, I thought what my siblings didn't want me to see. My siblings didn't want me to see, didn't want to see me in a turban. They didn't want to see me in a do-rag with short hair, with a hoodie, with a sweater, a shirt, baggy jeans, and tennis shoes. My siblings did. That's how I feel like my siblings didn't want to be seen with me. But little did I know, I didn't really know my siblings. Because once I did decide to be me, they was open arms. Like, it wasn't no, you going to hell. It was none of that. Like, there was open arms. There was no love lost. It wasn't like, that ain't my sister. I don't know who that is. It was, open arms. Same with my mom, it was open arms. Like when I came over to my mom said, "Oh, I knew that already." That was my mom's whole like response to when I told her. Like she like, I already knew. And I think my sisters already knew, because I didn't really bring no male figure around. Like I didn't bring a male friend around. So I think like they all knew. Like I told my mom, I know I was in my 20s when I told my mom I was in my 20s, and she was just like, I already know. Like a mother knows. My sibling was like, okay, and what you want, a candy, a cake? You know, they already knew. I think for me, telling everybody was great when I told my mom and when my siblings found out. I think the most hurtful one to tell was my dad, because my dad had a whole totally different reaction. When I told my dad, I cried. Like in tears, I cried because it didn't go the way I planned. When you tell your mom and your siblings know, it's like, okay, and you thinking like, okay, well, okay, let me go ahead and tell my dad. Let me go ahead and tell my dad. So I told my dad, but no, it wasn't the same reaction. It was more so like, that's not the way God planned, and it was a whole bunch of stuff. So I cried. But when I cried and I told her, the person I was dealing with, her mom came outside and actually consoled me and let me know, like, people going to accept you who you is, people are not going to accept you. And you just got to find a way to deal with it. And with my dad, and I think it really hurt with my dad because growing up, every weekend, I was at my dad's house. I'd be like, Mom, I want to go to my dad's house. So every weekend I was at my dad's house. When my grandmother passed, which was one of the hurtfulest things in my life, I was at my dad's house when she passed. I went with my dad to the hospital when my grandmother passed, which was one of the most hurtful things in life I could have ever experienced, is my grandmother passing. And that was the most hurtful thing I experienced. And I was at my dad's house. But to hear my dad tell me the things that he told me when I told him about me, it was hurtful. It was very hurtful, because that's my dad. Like, you want your parents to accept you for who you are as an individual. I don't care what it is in life or what it is that you're trying to do. You want your parents to accept you who you is as an individual, because at the end of the day, whoever your parents is, you're going to accept your parents for who they are as an individual. My dad is just an individual of his own. Like, I think I take a lot after my dad with the jokes. When people be like, oh, is you serious, or are you taking the... Like, I think I take a lot after my dad when he jokes around, because I joke a lot. But I accept my dad for who he is. You know what I'm saying? With the drinking, and my dad is a totally different parent from my mom. Let me just say that my dad is a totally different person from my mom. Like, my mom is a parent. Like, my mom will help all her kids. It don't matter what it is, my mom will help you. My mom will give you advice. Don't matter if it's good advice or if it's bad, if it's advice you don't even want, my mom will give you that advice. My mom will help you. Anything my sisters or brothers need, my mom is there for you. When it comes to her grandkids, she always go in, go out, show out, whatever. She's spending money on her grandkids. And she do the same for her kids. If you tell my mom, if you talk about what it is that you want the whole entire time, like you say, dang, I need a TV for my living room. Every time you talk about a TV for your living room, when it comes around Christmas or your birthday, I guarantee there's going to be a TV up under that tree from my mom. A vacuum cleaner, whatever it is. Whatever it is, you say, dang, I'm behind on my rent. I really got to figure out a way to get this money for my rent. Whatever it is, you going to have an envelope with a card with money in it for your rent. That's how my mom is. My dad is a whole totally different person. And I'm not putting my dad down because I love my dad with everything in me, just like I love my mom with everything in me. But my dad is a different person. Like as a child, you know how to approach your dad. You know how to approach your mom. You know how when kids ask their parents for anything, I know which parent to go to if I behind on something, which is my mom. Now with my dad, I can go to my dad for any type of advice. My dad will give me advice. It may not be solid advice, but it'll be some advice you be like, let me think about that. Let me think about that, Dad. Let me think about that, what you gave me. But that's just to say that I don't want people to take from this video like, hey, she don't love her dad. No, that's not the case at all. I love my dad with everything in me, just like I love my mom with everything in me. I do anything for my dad. But it's easier when I do something for my mom. It's like I'm a jump because my mom will jump for me. When my dad, it's like, oh, okay. You know, like it's my dad, but I love my dad. So when I'm saying stuff like over the weekends when I was a child, I used to be like, I'm going to my dad's house. I would go to my dad's house. I don't care where he stayed. He stayed in a room. It was an apartment where he stayed in his room. They all shared the kitchen. I would go to my dad's house. I didn't care because I was around my dad. You know what I'm saying? So to hear the things that he said to me, and I really can't really remember, but I know it was some hurtful stuff because I remember vividly that I cried from the things he said. So now to this day, me and my dad's relationship is still the same as it was before I even came out to him, because I'm not gonna say he totally 100% accepted, because when he calls me or when I talk to him or when I'm over at his house, he just asks, how's your friend doing? Say hi. Tell your friend I said hi. So it's tell your friend I said hi. And I can't fault him for that, or I can't push him on that, because the simple fact that this is how he is and this is who he is as a person. Like, this is who I am as a person. So I can't say, well, you need to say that's my girlfriend, or no. Long as it's not a disrespectful way, he still speaks. If I bring my girlfriend around, he still speaks. He's still cordial. It is what it is. I know for a simple fact, if I was to get married to a female, he wouldn't come to the wedding. And the reason why I say that is because my sister got married to a female and he didn't come to the wedding. So I would respect that, and I know that he wouldn't come, so I wouldn't ask. But does that mean, oh, well, since he's not going to come, then I don't love him? That's not the case. I still love my dad. That's just who he is as a person. You see what I'm saying? Like, everybody's not going to be who you want them to be as a person. I accept everyone who they is as a person because that's just who I am. I don't judge who you are as a person. Whatever you do in your life is what you do in your life. And the reason why I say that, because I am an African American black woman who's a lesbian. And that, me saying that, means I have so much on my shoulders by being an African American black woman that's a lesbian. Black people have it so hard, but being a lesbian on top of being an African American is even harder. And that's just the case. That's why I say I accept hate comments, I accept positive comments, and it's gonna be what it is. I thrive on praying every night before I go to sleep. I thrive on praying every night, every morning when I wake up. And the thing is, I don't just pray for me, I pray for everyone in the world. Because we all go through hurtful stuff. We all seen hurtful things happen. To me, prayer is another gateway to therapy. So if I pray about what it is I went through or what it is I seen, it helps me out as an individual. It helps me out. It really does. I'm 38 years old, and a lot of things I've seen or a lot of things I heard about, it makes me cry. Because I feel like in this world, because I had the opportunity to grow up to become a 38-year-old woman, everyone else should have that opportunity to grow up to be a 38-year-old. You know? I grew up in the 90s. So the 90s wasn't like what it is now. The 90s was different. I mean, you still had kids being kidnapped, kids being touched. You still had all those things. But the thing about it is, my mom raising 5 kids by herself, my mom drilled in us, and we got whoopings. So, you know, the crazy thing is I'm not trying to move away from the conversation I'm on, but I want to say this. The crazy thing is, I used to be like, my mom whooping us didn't love us. But growing up, your mom whooping you meant she cared and loved you. So my mom whooping us, my mom telling us, you better not do this, you better not do that, was a reason behind why she said, don't do this, don't do that. It was a reason behind that. But as a kid, who will really know as a kid why she's telling you not to go outside? Why she's telling you not to go here? Why she's telling you not to talk to this person? Why she's telling you that? Because you're a kid, you don't know. But when you're a grown up, you're like, dang, now I know. My mom telling me not to do this. My mom telling me not to go here. My mom telling me all this stuff. And me not knowing why. But as an adult, now I know why she did this, why she whooped us, and all that. Like, we got whoopings when we did what we wasn't supposed to do. When the street lights was on, where you supposed to be? On the porch. Street lights on, you're on the porch. When you come home from school, what you supposed to do? Your schoolwork, change your clothes, then you go outside and have fun with your friends. But when that street lights come on, where you supposed to be? On the porch or in the house. And that's how I was with me and my sisters. On the porch or in the house. My mom didn't play at all. She didn't play at all. At all. Second, let me take a sip of my cocktail. So yeah, me coming out to my mom, me coming out to my sisters was a totally breeze. Me coming out to my dad was, I didn't expect that because, I don't know, I just thought me and my dad had a different relationship. I don't know. I love my dad though, but now, me coming out to my family was something I dread. And you like, why would you say it like that? Like, if you know, I love my family. And I'm not talking about my mom or my siblings. I'm talking about my aunts, my uncles, my cousins. I love them to death. Don't get me wrong. I really do. I love all my cousins, all my aunts, all my uncles to death. And my grandmother on my mom's side. My grandmother on my dad's side, I love to death. My grandma on my dad's side, when I say my grandma on my dad's side was someone, I feel like someone you could go to and talk to about anything, and she will give you the best solution, answer, whatever it is you're looking for. She will give you the best advice ever. And I think I lost her in 2001, which was one of the hardest loss ever. And then we fast forward to my great-great-grandmother who passed away. I want to big up my grandmother Louise, for the simple fact that she was one of the best grandmas I think anybody can ever ask for. I think we had one of the best relationships that I can remember. I wish to this day she was still here, but you can't question God when it comes to anything. And I don't. And I don't. And I don't. That's why I have a tattoo with my grandmother. I have a chain with my grandmother's picture because she's with me every day. So when my great grandmother passed, one of the things I've always heard as a teenager is when people would see my great grandmother, they'd be like, "Oh, that's your grandmother?" No, that's my great grandmother. That's my mom's mom. And they'd be like, "Man, that's a blessing." And hearing that as a teenager, you don't never know what it really means. You really, like me for instance, I really didn't know what it means when it said it's a blessing to have your great grandmother around. But once you lose your great grandmother and you're an adult, then that's how you really realize, like, damn, I know what people really meant when they said it's a blessing to have your great grandmother around, because it was truly a blessing. And I can tell you to a T, when my great grandmother was around and she stayed with us, her list when we went to the store was blue gum, aka Winter Fresh, a bag of chips, a pop, and grandma cookies. That was her whole entire list. She would give you so much money as when you come back with her change and her snacks that she asked for, she'd be like, keep the change. So much money, she'd be like, keep the change. And my great grandmother would grease my hair, braid my hair, massage my head. Best great grandmother ever. Best great grandmother ever. Best great grandmother ever. Who could say that they were around and grew up with their great grandmother? I grew up with my great grandmother. I really did. Best great grandmother ever. So when I say I got my grandmother on my arm, right next to my grandmother, I have my great grandmother's name. I have a chain that has my grandmother picture. If you swirl the chain around, it has my great grandmother's picture. Best great grandmother ever. Best great grandmother ever. So I've been through hurt, and learn from it. When people tell you things, you really do learn from it. You really do. But so back to coming out. Telling my family, which was my aunts and my uncles, I never really did tell them. I just showed up one day with my significant other. But the thing about it was the most, the most scared part about showing up to my auntie Tanya's party with my significant other, because I think that's the first time they met her. If not, it was probably at my grandmother's house. But just showing up, period, with my significant other. The only thing I was really worried about, not even my aunties or my uncle, because I think I got the coolest aunties and uncles in the world. All my aunties is cool. All my uncles is cool. So I think I got like the coolest aunties and uncles. So they probably be like, I don't care. But my grandmother, my mom's mom, bruh. My mom's mom is a church going, God loving, God fearing individual. She is like, bruh. When I say, if she feels like it's not church-worthy, God-worthy, no, you're not getting the pass. She don't care. My grandmother on my mom's mom, she speaks her mind. Whether it's wrong or right, she speaks her mind, because in her mind, she's right. You want to know why? Because she's a church-going individual. And that's my grandmother. I love her to death. I really do. But if it ain't God-worthy, yeah, you ain't doing something right. But the shocker is, I'm thinking like, dang, I'm going to have to deal with my grandmother. I'm going to have to answer some questions. She going to want to know this. She going to want to know that. Not knowing, she ain't want to know nothing. She ain't asked no questions. And I want to say it's because she knew my significant other's grandmother. And my significant other's grandmother probably already hipped around. I'm not for sure. I don't know. But when I brought her around, my grandmother was open arms. Let's hug. She really was. Like open arms. She didn't care. It wasn't no questions. It wasn't no side eye. Wasn't no, I'm gonna look at you differently. It was none of that. It was like, okay. It was something that I wasn't looking for. So yeah, when my grandma I was shocked, relieved, but I think that really made me, I don't want to say respect, because I always respect my elderlies, I always respect my grandmother. I don't want to respect, but I think that put me in a different light when it came to my grandmother. Like, really. And because my mom's mom and my dad's mom was two totally different grandmothers. Two totally different grandmothers. And when I say two totally, I mean two totally different grandmothers. My dad's mom was a goofer. Games, jokes, made me laugh, everything. My mom's mom, no. My mom's mom, I love her to death. But if you go to her house, it ain't no running, it ain't no bumping, it ain't no touching a lot of stuff. It's in here. We went to my grandmother's house, we sat in one spot. That was all. One spot. No moving at all. One spot. You want to get cussed out or no? And I stayed in one spot until it was time to go. But I love both of my grandparents. My mom's mom is still here, and I love her to death. I need to do a lot more visiting, but I love her to death. I love her to death. She's the last grandparent for me. Yeah, so 38 years. Grandfather, I met my great grandfather. Any other grandfathers? No. Nope. I met my dad's dad. He's still living. But that dude, yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know. Feel me? I don't even know. But coming out for me was easy and hard at the same time. And I know a lot of people that come out, it's not easy. It's more hard than easy. Some people that come out is easy, more easy than hard. But I say this, man. Live your life how you want to live your life. Don't let nobody else tell you how to live your life. Don't let other people make decisions on how you live your life, because I did that for years. And I'm not blaming my siblings or my mom for the way I chose to live my life before coming out, because I lived my life thinking this is how my siblings and my mom wanted to see me, with the long hair pressed, the tight jeans, the heels, the boobs. That's how I thought my siblings want to see me live my life, which it wasn't at all. So I say to say this: live your life. You gonna get it. It doesn't matter what you live, what you do in life, whether you're gay, straight, garbage picker, mailman. It don't matter what you do. You gonna always get hate in life. So if you can accept the hate, do it. Don't live in the closet too long to where you give someone the opportunity to pull you out that closet. You don't want to give somebody else the opportunity to pull you out that closet. You want to be the one to say, this is me, I'm gay. Or this is me, I'm a transgender. Whatever the situation may be. It might not be gay, it might not be transgender, it might not be anything that I'm talking about. Whatever the situation is that you're afraid to tell someone, you don't want someone to be you don't want to give someone that much power to pull you out and let everybody know who you truly are. You should be the one to let people know who you truly are. Live your life, man. And when I say live it, live it. Live it. Live it. Don't shortcut it. Live your life. Be happy with who you are as an individual. Don't let nobody take that from you. Don't let nobody take that from you. And I can't blame nobody but myself in this situation because I waited so long to tell people who I really was because of my insecurities and me being afraid of what someone would think of me. But now that I am 38, I don't care what nobody think of me. At this point, I don't care what nobody think of me. Because I can be straight. People will still think negative thoughts about me. People will still say negative things about me. So I'm going to live my truth. And I hope everybody else out there is living their truth. If at this point right now, you feel like right now it's not for me, that's fine. But make sure the way you moving is the correct way. Because you don't want to give someone that ammo to pull you out and tell people who you really is before you tell them who you really is. This is STNC Podcast, and I'm your host, Nikki. Make sure you share till you can't share no more. Drop your comments below and let me know what y'all think about this episode, because this is episode 3. Make sure y'all drop those comments and let me know y'all favorite cocktails, because I am dying to try your favorite cocktails. And in between time, until the next time, this is your girl, Nikki, and I am out.